물자리 좀 하나 준비해 주세요.
목사님이 10분 내실 것 같은데.
글쎄.
무대 잘 보세요. 열심히. 바다에
아니 안 냈대.
안 맞대. 거봐요. 물자리 하나 좀 주세요. 물자리가 주시면 되는데.
저기 뭐야 기러기야? 기러기인가? 고니 철새들이죠?
여기는 철새가 아니겠지.
여기는 자기 고향이니까.
여기는 국민학생들이 오는 데니까 줄을 쪼르륵 서가지고 자, 우리 여기 집사님이 저기 뭐야 호루라기 불면서 줄을 세워요. 예, 반장.
반장하세요.
오늘 반장. 여기서 먼저 우리가 각자 흩어질 것 같거든요. 그러니까 여기 줄 서서 집사님이 반장이라니까 지금. 그래서 또르르기 다녀야 돼. 또르르기. 반장하실 거예요? 네. 반장 시켰어요. 같이 가요? 그냥 뭘 새끼들하고 해가지고. 각자 뭐 하지 말고 서로에 같이 다녀봐요. 일단은 11시 숫자 파악 좀 하시고 잘좀 어떻게 해보세요. 이건 꽃밭에서 사진도 한번 찍으시고.
아 정말 좋습니다. 자 녹화되고 있습니다.
모델 연주이기. 그래서 저는 인사. 아 웃으세요. 모델료가 더 비싸지. 모델료 좀 비싸는데.
자 캘리포니아
카메라 또 찍고.
뭐가 좋나 보죠?
예.
이거 어떻게 하는 거죠?
안 열리는
세. 이거 누르실 줄 아시죠? 예.
당기시면 쫙 가까이 돼요. 그걸로 안 찍어도
아니 다 찍었어요.
잠깐 눌러주세요.
그 카메라
다 했어요.
제일 큰 거, 제일 더 안.
여기 쳐다보세요.
잠깐만요. 잠깐만요. 전도사님 들어오세요. 들어가세요. 빨리 내 카메라로 우리 쪽으로 해가지고
세계안으로 이걸
먹어봐야 오지. 갑자기 안 돼요.
나중에 하고 나중에.
여기 쳐다보세요.
나중에 하고 저거 좀 보세요.
그 앞에다 보세요.
그래 앞에다.
요 앞에다.
오늘 모델 카메라 제일 앞에다 많이 하는구나. 앉으세요 좀. 목사님 좀 앉으세요. 하나, 둘.
하나씩 찍지 말고요.
돌아왔죠? 네, 그래서 돌아왔죠? 그럼요.
Mommy's right there. They're there, she's coming. Piggy!
You guys walk up the big hill? Or do you want to go through the pavilion and up around there? Yeah, and then we go around.
목사님
예?
스톱하시고요. 스톱하시고 잠깐 요 와보세요.
와.
좋은 거 소개해드릴게요.
You think that how many, maybe the mature this age,
Yes, it should be, it's an adult cat, but one of the smallest.
smallest?
Yeah.
Oh, is it demonstration or what? The selling what?
No, this is just to show people.
Oh, I
just
see.
so
Okay.
they can touch. So they can touch the
Is it
leopard.
real skin?
Yeah,
Oh, real.
everything's real except
real.
that's a model.
Oh, I
That
see.
died out 10,000 years ago. And here are the claws.
쓰고 찍으라고.
영화에 보면
그게 뭐예요? 달비예요?
호랑이인데 이렇게 조그맣대요.
호랑이 새끼.
이렇게 제일 여기
새끼 아니에요?
중에서 제일 큰 거랍니다.
아, 요런 종류 중에서.
이거 찍어요.
예, 찍었습니다.
근데 지금 여기서 뭐 하는 거야 이게?
아니 그냥 이제 보여주는 거예요. 발란트니까 이 사람이. 근데 이거 직접 못 만져보잖아요. 애들 만지고 싶어도. 이게 이제
And it's called a leopard cat. One of the smallest.
오리지널 호랑이 가죽.
이거 호랑이에요. 이거 호랑이.
예? 그게 호랑이 뼈다귀, 해골.
Yes, he has small feet.
저거는 뭔가?
이거요?
What's that? That's cool.
저게 이빨 아닙니까?
Saber-toothed tiger.
저 그림 있잖아요.
타이거.
Died out 10,000 years ago.
10년 전에 죽은 거라고요?
10,000 그래도 만년 전에.
만년 전에. 그 뭐의 뼈라고 하죠?
타이거.
타이거, 타이거의
Tiger.
이 이빨인가 보죠?
No,
만-
not real.
만년
not
전
real.
된
Yeah.
해골.
이거는
저 호랑이.
만년 전에 호랑이 해골 모습입니다.
이거는 치타 해골이에요.
작은
가장
거?
빠른 거. 몸은
치타,
크고
예.
머리는 작고.
예, 제일 빠른 저 짐승
제일
치타
빠른
해골.
동물 치타.
치타.
만져봐야 돼.
This is cat.
아주 가이드를 참 잘하십니다.
호랑이.
호랑이 작은 종자 호랑이,
예,
작은
이게,
종자.
이게 성인 호랑인데 이렇게 작대요. 다 큰 거래요. 옛날 거요?
유머스 같아.
예.
그래.
고양이 아니에요?
자, 어떻게 지금
차가 안 왔습니다. 차가. 예. 예, 차 오는 시간 동안 기다리고 있습니다.
5분 후에
자, $1 한 번씩 찍는데 $1.
Just to show the biggest tiger that ever lived. This is leopard. This is a cheetah's pet. You can see how small
Cheetah?
compared to the lion.
타이거?
안으로 들어가 이빨이 이 밖으로 나와야 되겠네.
아, 이게 만 년 전에
네.
예. 그만큼 진화가 됐다는 건가?
Cats don't have to be big.
아니 이건 돌연변이겠죠?
It's no bigger than
굉장히 크네 그건 이빨이.
and this is a tiger. Probably a Siberian tiger. Very big fur.
호랑이 가죽 만져보기가 힘들거든요.
네,
그러니까
털이 이렇게 부드럽지는 않나요.
They're the claws.
오히려 부드럽기는 요게 더.
차 왔습니까?
왔어요.
차 왔어요? 차 왔으면 이제 가야지. 손 한 번 흔들어 줘야지 왜 이렇게 자손 한 번 흔들어 줘요. 그럼 그래 좋지. 그럼 찍는 사람도 힘도 안 들고. 예.
일절만 넣으면 큰 제목이 되는데 갈라져갖고 아니죠. 잣나무는 이만합니다. 그죠? 이렇게 길게 있어요. 벽초나무는 요만하고. 아니 근데
집사님 저 이런 거 하나 찍어주는 게 참 좋지 않을까요?
우리 기도원이가 현재가 다 잣나무 숲이에요. 다 망치고 가졌고. 근데 미국에서 저실 갖다 뿌렸거든요. 미국에서 소나무 비슷한 건데 자라가지고 요만큼 그 모양 나는 거 있죠. 그게 와갖고 심었는데 실내바닥다가 심었는데 잘 안 돼갖고 인져서 이제 우리 한국 배에 가져갖고 자라기 시작하거든요. 다 해먹었어요. 아직 국내에는 한 번도 그 시도를 안 해봐갖고.
그 전도사님, 맨 앞에 앉아 계신 전도사님.
그게 안 됐을 경우에는
자 이제 머리들을 오른쪽으로 향하세요.
닥터 프린스가 신혼 사람들
사람이 오셨으면 그 타이틀을 뺏길 뻔했어요.
아무것도
남편이 할 거 많으면 부인도 뭐 하나 또 인터넷에는 뭐 있는 게 많아요. 근데 여기서 왜 이렇게 잘했어? 또 제가 기쁘는 것도 많아요.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Metropolitan Toronto Zoo, and especially aboard the Zoomobile ride. Your driver's name is John, and my name is Eric, and for the next half hour, we will be your guides as we tour the major walking paths of the Toronto Zoo. For your own safety, there is no eating, drinking, and especially no smoking allowed on board the Zoomobile, and I must ask that you remain seated for the duration of the ride. Please hold on to loose articles and small children, as from time to time, John may have to bring us to a sudden stop when pedestrians or small animals cross our path.
I just called it good morning or good afternoon. And usually when it's the afternoon, I say good morning. I just can't win. You can waste the
We are now entering the core woods. The main pavilions of the zoo were developed around these woods, which have remained in their natural state. When trees die, they are not removed. Instead, they are left to rot, so this provides food for many insects and other invertebrates, as well as providing shelter for many of the small wild birds and animals which naturally inhabit this area. In contrast with more traditional zoos, the Metro Toronto Zoo displays its species on a zoo geographic basis. This means that all the plant and animals are grouped according to the continents on which they are naturally found. That means that you won't find any cat, monkey, or reptile houses here at the zoo. Instead, you'll have to visit the plants and animals which are in North America, Eurasia, and Australasia.
She decided that the cake was not
On our right-hand side now, you'll see our Australasia Pavilion. Here you can see such animals as tree kangaroos, tree pythons, kookaburras, emus, and many colorful saltwater fish from the Great Barrier Reef. Also in this pavilion is the unusual Edge of Night exhibit where nocturnal animals are displayed. During the day, we play a trick on these animals and turn the lights off, making them think that it's nighttime, so you can see them when they are most active. This area on our right-hand side now is home for our 2 Siberian tigers. Unfortunately, they like to spend most of their time on the other side where all their food, water, shelter, and even a small wading pool are all located. You're more than welcome to come back and take a look at them. On the other side, it's only about a 4-minute walk back from the main entrance. You may definitely want to come back here because in just a few short years you may only be able to see tigers in pictures. There are currently 7 species of tiger recognized in the world. All are considered critically endangered, except for the Bali tiger, which is now thought to be extinct. And it is estimated, if trends continue as they are today, all tigers will be extinct by the year 2000. And if you look about halfway up the pine tree in the center of this enclosure, coming up on our left-hand side, you'll get a good look at one of our Chinese red or lesser pandas. These appealing little animals are about the size of a house cat and bear no resemblance whatsoever to their larger and far more popular cousin, the giant panda. In fact, they look a lot more like little red raccoons and have some traits in common with bears. These are primarily nocturnal animals, and during the day they like to do exactly what this little critter is doing, and that is just sleeping in a tree. Also on the left-hand side now, you'll notice this exotic-looking pink structure. This is the Marco Polo Trail. Here you can see many of the plants and animals which Marco Polo would have seen on his legendary travels. As well, you can come back here anytime between noon and 3 p.m. daily for a camel ride. There are, of course, 2 conditions for riding a camel, and they are, of course, that you must be able to fit between the humps on the camel's back, and that you do not weigh more than the camel itself, which is about 1,500 pounds. And coming up on our right-hand side now, you'll see an Arabian 1-humped camel and a Bactrian 2-humped camel.
Come here.
Contrary to popular belief, the humps on the camel's back do not store water. Instead, they store fat. The reason why camels can survive long periods of time without water is that when they become dehydrated, they lose their water from their tissues. We lose water directly from our bloodstream, which then thickens, making our hearts work harder, which could eventually become fatal.
Over there.
Over on the left, you'll see the Marco Polo Trail that Eric was talking about just a little minute ago. From also 3, there are camel rides, as he mentioned. There are also a number of exciting exhibits, including facsimiles of some of the fabrics and spices that Mr. Polo would have encountered on his legendary travels, along with the snow cone, the kestrel, and the rat, a nuisance to Mr. Polo and his crew.
Good one. Good commentary.
Over on the right-hand side now, you'll get a very good look at some of Santa's favorite animals. These are the tundra reindeer, which are native to the Arctic regions of Europe, Asia, and Greenland. Along with their close cousins, the caribou, these are the only 2 species of deer in which both males and females carry antlers. And if you look out on our left-hand side at this time, head in the distance on top of the hillside, you'll see a large brown furry animal with horns. That is what's known as a domesticated yak. It comes from the Himalayan mountain range. And if you were to ever be asked the Trivial Pursuit question, what color is a yak's milk, you could answer correctly and with confidence, pink. And coming up just ahead of us on the right-hand side, you'll get a good look at our scimitar horned oryx. These antelopes usually inhabit the southern fringe areas of the Sahara Desert. They're extremely well adapted for living in desert conditions with hot, dry conditions and continuous sun. This is partly because their light-colored coats reflect much of the rays of the sun. As well, they also have a peculiar arrangement of blood vessels in their head which cools the blood running to their brain. And they don't actually have to drink any water, they can absorb all the moisture they need from the succulent plants which they chew. And over on the left-hand side now, you'll see our Przewalski's horses. Przewalski's horses were named after the Polish explorer who once discovered them in Mongolia in the later half of the 19th century. They are the only true wild horse in the sense that they have never been domesticated by man, and now ironically may actually be extinct in the wild, as the last confirmed sighting of them was in 1968. They have, however, bred well in the protective environment that zoos offer, and plans are currently underway to reintroduce the species to the wild.
relocating it into a garbage bag.
And on the right-hand side, you'll get another look, and even a better look at our Chinese red or lesser panda. It's really hard to believe that when you look at this little fella, he's actually closely related to the giant black and white panda we're so familiar with. Over on the left-hand side now, you'll get a good look at our troop of Japanese macaques. Japanese macaques are native to the Japanese Alps, which is the northernmost habitat for any primate other than man. For this reason, they're also known as snow monkeys. And if you look carefully at one on top of the hill, you'll see that it has its baby with it. We have a number of young in this exhibit. This area on our right-hand side now is home for our snow leopards. It seems as though they're hiding on us at this time. You may want to come back here later to see our 3 snow leopard cubs, which were born June 6th. Over on the left-hand side now, if you look into the wooden in this exhibit, some of the beasts on the high craggy slopes of the Caucasus Mountains exhibit. Very often the newborns can follow their mothers along the steep craggy slopes only a few hours after being born. And if you continue to look to the left through these bushes, you'll see our mouflon. Mouflon are goats, which are found throughout most of southern Europe, primarily on the islands of... And we're now about to leave the Eurasia section of the zoo after doing one complete loop of it. We're about to head out for a shortcut through the Americas and through North Service before heading out into Africa. Ahead of us on the left-hand side are 2 pathways which lead up to our polar bear exhibit. Unfortunately, we cannot see our polar bears from the zoomobile, but you're more than welcome to come back later to see our 3 polar bears playing around their 318,000-liter pool, which features viewing from both above and below the surface of the water. We're now about to enter North Service. This is the main service area of the zoo staff of over 250 people and is only accessible by the zoomobile. The white building coming up on our right-hand side is our greenhouse where our tropical plant collection is grown prior to being planted in the pavilions or throughout the zoo grounds. It is here that our gardening staff is responsible for maintaining our plant collection, which is valued at over $5 million and is considered to be one of the finest in North America. Beastal health units. It is here that all sick or injured animals are given extra special care and attention. As well, these buildings also serve as a quarantine area for all newly arrived animals. This food is prepared daily. Our annual food bill for feeding all of the animals here comes to well over $500,000 every single year. And if you look at a large rodent, this is what's known as a capybara, otherwise known as a water baby. It has the notable distinction of being the world's largest rodent. How would you like to have that in your basement? Youngest flamingo, which was hatched here April 10th. And this next enclosure, you'll see our spider monkeys.
Thank you.
See one of our spider monkeys on the steps by the waterway. And occasionally these spider monkeys will stick their hands out of the cage begging for food. We ask that you do not feed the animals here. No matter how well intended your feeding may be, it can actually do more harm than good, and it is for this reason that we've lost one of our elephants earlier this year. Immediately following the spider monkeys are their natural predators, jaguars. Jaguars are normally a pale yellow in color with black spotted rosettes like our male Damien. However, they are occasionally all black or melanistic in color like our female Serena. So if you were to come back and look at Serena in the proper light, you would see that she too has the same black rosettes as does Damien. It are these black rosettes which distinguish her from being a panther. John is now taking us into the Africa section of the zoo. And what better way to start off our tour of Africa than to be greeted by the world's tallest land animal. This building on our left-hand side now is home for our 3 beautiful Maasai giraffes, which you will see in just one moment up ahead on their main meadow area on your left-hand side. Maasai giraffes are in fact the tallest land animals on Earth. They can reach heights of over 6 meters. The females actually give birth standing up. That means about a 6-foot drop into the world for the newborn. But that's okay because the newborns are about 6 feet tall to begin with. Continuing to look to the left-hand side, you'll see our lions. The tall black fenced-in enclosure. That is our male Rowdy lying on top of the pile of rocks in the center of the enclosure. All cats are lazy animals, but lions in particular are extremely lazy animals, which like to spend about 20 hours a day sleeping. Also on the left-hand side, you'll see one of our spotted hyenas by the fence. The hyenas have the most powerful bone-crushing jaws on Earth. They can actually crush the bones of elephants to reach the precious and nutritious bone marrow within. These are one of the top carnivores in the food chain. They were thought to be scavengers for the longest time, but the extensive study has revealed that hyenas themselves do in fact hunt.
Tell nice jokes. What? Tell good jokes.
This area on our left-hand side is our home for our 2 white-tailed Nooser black wildebeests. You'll see them down at the very bottom gullyway in the back corner of this enclosure. The driver John is now pointing to them. During the 19th century, this animal was almost hunted to extinction because, believe it or not, its tail was highly prized for use as a trendy fly swatter. But a number of South African farmers banded together and protected several herds on their farms, and today all the white-tailed Noos in existence trace back to those protected herds. You might also be interested to know that many of the keepers here at the zoo consider those 2 animals to be the most dangerous to get into the enclosure with. Ahead of us, the road forks in 2. John will be turning us along the left-hand side, but if you were to walk down the right-hand side, you'd be following the grizzly bear trail down into the Canadian domain. There you can see such animals as lynx, Arctic wolves, wapiti, wood bison, grizzly bears, as well as bald eagles and a wide variety of native wildfowl.
Can't take credit for that hyena joke. It was a Susan M. line and I stole it. Go ahead. You also tell good jokes.
They're very happy animals. Coming up on the left-hand side, you'll get a good look at our ring-tailed lemurs. These small primates are native to Madagascar and the Comoro Islands, and this is only one of approximately 16 species of lemur which are not just there. All lemurs and many other species of animal which exist on Madagascar are critically endangered, mainly due to the destruction of their habitat. Continuing to look to the left-hand side, through the plexiglass windows, you'll see our Karevi zebra. The Karevi zebra are the largest of the 7 subspecies of zebra. Different zebra species can be differentiated by their overall striping pattern, and just like human fingerprints, no 2 zebras have the exact same stripes. Coming up on our right-hand side, you'll see our troop of Hamadryas or sacred baboons, which are native to northeastern Africa and the Arabian Peninsula. The one to look out for is our dominant male named Dougal. He's a large silvery gray one you see walking down the pile of rocks. Being the dominant male, Dougal gets first pick of all food and females. Baboons are the only primates other than man which regularly kill members of their own species to establish social hierarchies and assert their dominancy within them. And this is yet another reason why we ask our visitors here at the zoo not to feed the animals. For if a lesser animal was to be fed before Dougal, Dougal would hunt down and kill that animal in front of the rest of the troop to show that he is still the boss. And while this may sound extremely barbaric, I'm sure you could compare it to many of our modern politics. Behind the trees are the many peaks of the Africa Pavilion. This is the largest pavilion on the zoo site, covering more than 1.5 acres under one single roof. And it is home to our lowland gorilla family, the Mandrill troop, Aldabra tortoises, which can live up to 120 years, as well as bongos, pygmy hippos, meerkats, penguins, and many other species of plant and animal, which are indigenous to Africa. Directly to the right of this pavilion, you'll see a large wooden deck. That is our viewing platform for our herd of African bush elephants. I'm telling you all this right now because we're about to make our only scheduled stop on the Zoomobile ride at Serengeti Station. It is here that we strongly encourage you to disembark, as we are centrally located, with many magnificent animals to be seen in virtually every direction. From here, we are only heading right back to the main entrance, so this is an ideal place to start, continue, or finish your walking tour of the zoo, as you can come back here anytime later to reboard an upcoming Zoom and right back to the main entrance. Once again, all we're doing from here is just going right back to the main entrance with very few, if any, animals left to be seen on the tour.
슬슬 걸어가면 이제 구경하면서 나가면 딱 맞거든요.
White rhinos and greater kudu are that large brown blue-like animal on the back there. Cheetahs are just up ahead with those yellow birds walking. And the elephants are right back over there. Okay.
한 저기 20분마다 차가 오는데 여기 한번 동물 가까이 한번 보시고 여기 와서 가시든지 그렇게 가시든지.
그렇게 하죠.
Where's entrance?
Entrance is back that way.
It's about
a 10-minute down the hall. If you go through the Africa Pavilion,
타고 나가는 게 시간 많거든요.
Okay. I was just wondering because I'm leaving for Tokyo in November.
11월에
예.
성경 간다고.
It's
expensive in Tokyo.
Yeah, I know. I've heard. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day here.
Thank you.
Right-hand side, you'll see some Damaraland zebra, which are smaller than the Grevy's zebra we've seen earlier. You'll also see some white rhinos, ostriches, and greater kudu. We allow all these animals to intermingle here at the zoo because they all intermingle out in the wild. That is because they're all herbivorous, which means they eat plants and not each other.
There's a deer. There's 2 deer loose in the rhino.
Remember that? Yeah. Actually, I did something stupid the other day. I called it the orange ball of the Japanese macaque enclosure. Someone threw an orange balloon in there.
We're about to take another behind-the-scenes look in Africa Alley. This is the main service area for this section of the zoo, and once again is only accessible by the Zoomobile. The animals in this section are not used to human visitors, so it is important that you remain seated and quiet as we pass through here. I'll just be hopping out to open and close the gate, so I'll pass the commentary over to your driver, John. Top speed of 113 kilometers per hour. They can only maintain their top speed for a couple of moments, however.
They require a couple of hours rest before making one of their epic runs once again. There's one down here on the left just by the fence. Cheetahs have several fascinating abilities in order to help them to run faster. They're able to enlarge their nostrils to take in more oxygen, and they have semi-retractable claws which aid them to give them a little bit more extra traction. Most cats have fully retractable claws. And over on the left, you'll be able to see a male Gravy zebra. The same zebra species that we saw earlier on in the tour. As we go into this area, as little contact as possible with the keepers. This allows for them to keep their wild instincts within them just in case they need to be re-released back into the wild. And also this limits the possibility of injury to the keeping staff themselves. On the right, you'll see in between the Golden Gates 2 white rhinos. The rhino's horn is made out of a protein called keratin, just the same protein found in your hair and fingernails. You may wonder why that animal would be called the white rhino when it doesn't look very white. It's because we've had years of mispronunciation of its original name, which was the wide-lipped rhino.
It's a male zebra and someone shouted out.
But earlier you'll see some Damarland zebra and ostriches and greater kudus. The Damarland are smaller than the Gravy zebra. They're characterized by a third shadowy stripe in between their normal black stripes. Ostriches are the largest flightless birds in the world. They reach a top speed of 80 kilometers an hour, making their only predator the cheetah. You can see another ostrich over there on the left. You see a building with a cross on it on the right, and you may be wondering if this is the zoo's religious center, but this is in fact just 300 kilograms at full growth. You'll notice 2 small pools. These are our pup pools. Contrary to popular belief, baby seals are not able to swim from birth. They only know how to float, so under the watchful. We leave Africa now and are headed back to the main gate. We're passing the commentary back over to Eric. Will take us on the final leg of our journey.
As we are about to descend a very steep hill, please hold on to loose articles and small children, just in case we have to make a sudden stop. As we make our way through the Core Woods once again, this time from a different angle, take a look around and you may catch a glimpse of some of the native wildlife which naturally inhabits this area. Chipmunks and squirrels are quite common to see, and later in the day we sometimes catch a glimpse of groundhogs, raccoons, and occasionally a red fox or two. While these animals may appear to be tame, they are in fact wild animals, so if you see any, you should not attempt to approach or feed them because they may not hesitate to bite you.
Symbol 1 to dispatch, are we clear through the Core Woods? Platform. We're holding? No, we're clear.
Oh, come on, let's just hold the helicopter.
If you really want to.
If we're holding. No, but you're clear. I know, but we're holding. The other one's through. Mark!
Okay. That each year about 1,000 animals are either born or hatched here at the Metro Toronto Zoo. Some stay here, others are traded or loaned to other zoos around the world for their exhibits and breeding programs. And if you're a frequent visitor of the Metro Zoo, you may wish to become a member of the Toronto visits a year, more than make up for the cost of a membership. We house our Zoological Society and main gift shop in the gray and green building coming up on our right-hand side. And this signifies that we are coming to the end of our tour. Please remain seated until we have come to a full and complete stop, at which time please take a moment to check for any personal belongings And on behalf of your driver John and myself, I'd just like to hope that you have enjoyed your ride on the Zoomobile and will enjoy the rest of your day here at the Metro Toronto Zoo. It is now safe to leave the Zoomobile.
What are you doing coming from the Golden Falcon? The sunglasses broke.
As this is the final stop of the Zoomobile ride, all passengers must now depart.
No, that's the end of the tour. Yeah, that's, like we did the whole loop of the tour now. Main gate is right over there.
Please stand clear of the Zoomobile. Please stand clear of the Zoomobile.
필리핀 가서요. 카메론데 그 결혼식 했잖아요. 그 10박 어제 사진 찍었거든요. 그거 갖고 와서 보였더니 눈이 들어가는 거예요. 가서 다 기쁘면 결혼했네.
While we go to the adult. Yeah, you
can. Stop.
Shoes on his knees.
Let's get in our lines once again.
I was struggling very much.
잠깐 일로 봐요. V자 한번 긋고. 유 목사님 손 한번 흔들어요. 사모님 손 한번 흔들어요. 아, 좋습니다. 뽀뽀 한번 해요, 뽀뽀.
뽀뽀 한번 하시겠는데요? 뽀뽀 한번 하시네요. Alright.
아, 좋습니다. 저쪽에 저 지구 있고 꽃시계 있는데 그쪽으로 다 한번 내가 놓고 갈게요, 쭉.